Hey everyone, welcome back to another Shoutout Answers Devlog. Today in this Devlog I'm going to be talking about my experience in the GMTK 2024 Game Jam. So, the theme for this jam was built to scale, and I really enjoyed that as a topic as I felt like it could create a lot of different ideas. For example, a major one to me was from Mario 64, that being Tiny Huge Island. In Tiny Huge Island, you can go into a pipe that will let you scale the level in size between the tiny and huge variants. And I thought that was a really cool concept. So I tried to do something similar, along with adding this sort of dreamscape as a nice background for it. And that is how I got my GMTK 2024 entry, that being Downsized Memories. In Downsized Memories, you are a mage who's basically like a doctor of sorts, helping out a patient with amnesia, and you have to travel through her memories to reconnect to both her short and long-term memory to save her. It was a really fun game to make, and I'll go through it day by day as we go through this devlog. So, let's start at the beginning, aka Day 1. In Day 1, I had a lot of different thoughts for games. For example, making it a lot of different islands, making it a lot of different puzzles, and all that kind of sort of stuff. Now, obviously, that's way too big of a scope for a Game Jam game where you only have 4 days to make it, and then publish, release it, and all that stuff. So I shrunk it down a lot. Along with getting the general concept, I started by importing a lot of different assets. For example, the tile sets and characters I used they're the same tile sets and characters from my game, Shoutout Answers, but I used different art assets, specifically in the characters themselves. Along with that, I made a mental roadmap of the stuff I would have to make throughout the game. For example, I made a beach section, a mountain section. Along with that, the game also wraps up with its final challenge in what I call the magical trail. And then it would all have dialogue dispersed throughout it, and a nice ending as well. That was what I did in Day 1. Basically just come up with the idea and craft out the game plan and start up just a bit. Day 2 was a lot of the beginning things. For example, I believe either in Day 1 or Day 2, I made the intro cutscene, added all the nice special effects to the areas I was making, and along with that kind of stuff. I also remember I started the beach on Day 2, and mostly finished up both the adult and child sections, which I also introduced how you can navigate those through what I called a waystone. And what a waystone does in Downsized Memories is let you transport yourself through both the childhood and adulthood memories of your patient, which I thought was a pretty novel and nice mechanic. Along with that, I also introduced how you solve these things by these things called activators. And what an activator does is it, activates the either childhood or adulthood memories, depending on which side you're on, and then you just have to link up the other to complete the stage. It was a really nice idea, and I really enjoyed making it. So that was what I did on Day 2. Day 3, I finished up the beach section, made the dialogue afterwards for that section about what the patient will remember, and then I started working on the mountains. And what the mountains are were basically just a step up in progression of the puzzle difficulty, along with leaning more into the waystones mechanic. You see, in the beach section, there was only one waystone that you could use to transport between both adult and childhood memories. The mountain section, I believe there's 6 or so, maybe more. But basically, I tried to add more of a complexity to it, and also add quizzes to engage the player a bit more, along with boulder puzzles to add some complexity. I also introduced Greg once again, which if you played the GMTK 2023 jam, you remember was a character that people really seem to like, as he's basically just a bat that screams at you, and you greet him with a good morning. Anyways, that was what I mainly did for the mountain section. That is what I did for the rest of Day 3. Day 4 was a pretty big day, as in Day 4, I finished up the mountain section. I then started and ended the magical trail, that in and of itself being the biggest section of all the sections. So I made all the puzzles for it, that being both the number selection, which I had to figure out, and just straight up quizzes. So, a small side tangent. During Day 4, I had to figure out a lot of different things. For example, there are these number selection passages in Downsized Memories, where you basically have to enter the correct number, whether that be 1, 1, 1, and 1, or something like 9,005. And my problem was, if the player overshot it, they would still pass it easily, but if they undershot it, they would fail. So I had to figure out a new way to get it so that they had to get the number completely correct, so they couldn't just put the highest number and completely cheese the puzzle. So that was a fun thing to work around. Along with that, I had to stay up pretty late so that I could actually upload it, as whenever the GMTK Game Jam happens, when everyone uploads their level on whatever the last day is, it usually crashes the server. So I did it a day early to beat that rush a little. So I got my game in around 12 hours early. It was actually really nice, as it let me do things like promotional materials such as screenshots and the like on the day of, where everyone was usually uploading and the server was crashing. That was most of what I was doing during the GMTK Game Jam. Along with that, as of recording this, the results are in, and I have some good news. I received 1,866th place overall in the GMTK Game Jam. Along with that, I have some key stats. For example, I got 1,179th in style, which was pretty awesome, as it was the kind of new thing in the GMTK Game Jam. Along with that, I also got 2,332nd on enjoyment and 2,694th in creativity. All of those had a roughly average score of around 3 or higher. I got a lot of 5-star, 4-star, and 3-star rankings with not many 1-star and 2-star. Note, this was out of 7,636 entries in total, which is a lot of people. And the nice part is, I've been able to watch my progression through the years, as I've done the last 2 jams as well. And with those jams, I got 2,332nd overall for the 2023 jam, and 3,795th for the 2022 Game Jam. So it feels like I've come a long way, and it's nice to see that natural progression. Anyways, that was just a quick update on what's been happening over the last week or so. Anyways, that's about it for this devlog. I've been Fire. See ya!